All right, so as you guys can see, this whole area right here is where the car was hit or crashed. I don't know what happened. Either way, this is what the previous owner did. He went ahead and pulled the dent as much as he could, and then he went ahead and bonded it. I did hammer it a little bit from the inside and the outside to try to get it a little bit better. Now I can go and just apply more Bondo and try to shape it to get the shape right, but it's pretty rough. It's super bumpy. Like, all these areas are super bumpy. This area right here is really bad, and then right here it's pretty dented in too. So I want to get this clean right here, mainly this line right here, for when the tail light sits, you won't be able to tell pretty much. Now, I went to the junkyard the other day and I found a 240. And before you guys say anything, don't worry, that 240 was completely totaled from the passenger side. So I went ahead and cut out this whole piece right here, this whole quarter panel piece off of that car. Now I'm going to use that to make a fiberglass mold out of this area right here. And I'm going to try to use that fiberglass mold as an over fender type thing. And then I'm going to try to blend it into this body to see if I can get the shape better than I would with Bondo. And if worst case scenario, I'll go ahead and just cut my car and weld that new piece on there. That's what I'm not trying to do. So first, let's see what that fiberglass mold does. And if it comes out clean, that's what we'll roll with. So let's go ahead and start making that mold. Alright, this is the piece that I cut out from the car at the junkyard. Like I said, that car was completely totaled. The passenger side was just super pushed in. There's no way of saving that car. So before you guys say anything, that car was already gone. So I went ahead and cut it. I cut out this whole piece right here, this whole tail light area, mainly for this piece, but I went ahead and just did everything. That's the whole piece I cut out. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put some aluminum foil on this so that when we go ahead and do the fiberglass mold, the resin won't actually stick to the metal and I'll be able to pop off the mold. Now I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this in aluminum foil, tin foil, whatever you guys call it, and I'll show you guys what that's like, and then we'll go ahead and get started mixing up the resin and actually laying down some fiberglass. Alright, so there you go, guys. I wrapped up the panel with some tin foil, and I'm gonna have, oops, wow, I almost dropped it. Alright guys, so I went ahead and wrapped the whole thing in tin foil, aluminum foil, and just held it on with some regular painter's tape, some masking tape. There is tape going across here, which I don't think will make a big deal. But anyway, the main area we're going to focus on is this curve here, coming around to this little part here. So from here all the way around is the main area that I'm going to be focusing on, that I want to get the mold for. Now obviously, being aluminum foil, there is going to be some wrinkles, and those wrinkles will be on the mold. But either way, we got to Bondo it, and we got to finish shaping it a little bit anyway, so that shouldn't matter too much. Plus it will be on the underside of the mold. So now I'm going to go ahead, that I got this all ready, I'm going to go ahead over here, and I got my fiberglass resin right here with the hardener. It comes together. I got it at Home Depot. It's not that expensive, along with some fiberglass mat. Now for the fiberglass, I highly recommend that you use rubber gloves, because first of all, this thing is like super sticky, plus it smells really bad and it can burn your fingers if you leave it on for too long. And this stuff is just going to be extremely itchy if you leave it on your bare skin. I'm going to go ahead and use a face mask while I'm doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up a batch of this, and then I'll show you guys how I lay down the resin and the fiberglass. But please use rubber gloves, use a face mask, take care of yourself. This is nasty stuff. Just like Bondo is really nasty, this is even worse. Especially if this gets on your bare skin, it's just going to itch for days and it's going to be horrible. So just please take care of yourself. Now I'm going to go ahead and mix up this batch and then show you guys how I lay this thing down. Also, get yourself a paintbrush, any cheap little paintbrush that are disposable, so you can spread the resin. I went ahead and did a test run. Here's the paintbrush that I use, and look at this thing. Hard as a rock now from all that resin, which is why I say, look, I can't even bend this thing. Which is why I say get a disposable one, because you are going to throw it away after. This is what I'm going to use along with the fiberglass resin and the fiberglass mat. So let's go ahead and mix that up. Alright guys, so the fiberglass mat actually comes in one big sheet. So what I did was I went ahead and I cut it into smaller pieces about this big, if you guys can see that. So cut up your mat if it comes in one giant piece. Get some squares about, some rectangles, you know, whatever you guys want. I have my piece set up here. I'm going to mix the resin. Now, mix according to instructions. I believe this one says 1 ounce would be about 10 to 6 drops of the hardener. So I'm going to go ahead and do maybe 3 ounces and then, you know, mix the hardener. We'll see. But just mix accordingly. Read the instructions. Get some measuring cups or a weight or whatever. Cut up your mat. Now I'm gonna go ahead and mix it. I'll set you guys up on a tripod and we'll do a little time lapse of me laying down. Actually, I'll go ahead and explain. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the resin, you know, with my brush, spread it all along where I'm gonna lay down the fiberglass. So I just spread all the resin. Imagine there's resin here. Now I'm gonna take the mat, lay on top of the resin, right? Let it all soak in. Now I'm gonna take more resin and then just repeat, and I'll do that over the mat. Let it all soak in. Get another piece of mat, go over, and repeat until you are happy. And, you know, get that shape down right. So lay resin, get the mat, soak it, put more resin on top of the mat, put another piece of mat, you know, over and over and over. You guys will see on the time lapse. So I'm gonna go set you guys up, I think, right here, and let's go get started.
I am who I'm meant to be. I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out again. My future needed clarity, so I could see how you react.
All right, you guys. So this is what it looks like now. I went ahead. You guys just saw in that time lapse. Spread resin, lay the mat on top. Spray resin, lay the mat on top. Spread the resin, lay the mat on top. Repeat until you feel like you have a good enough thickness, or, you know, the thickness that you desire. I feel like I went maybe a little too thick, but you know what? That's all right, because we are actually gonna we gotta sand it away anyway. You know, get the shape perfect. I focused mainly on this curve here, right there, this little notch right here, and, you know, this big curve here. So this is what I need from here all the way around to here. So we're gonna let this sit overnight, 24 hours. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll see what it's like when it's all hardened up. We'll go ahead and pop off the mold and get rid of all this excess that you see. All that extra stuff around will be gone. And what we need is this main piece right here. So we'll let that sit and we'll come back tomorrow. All right. So I let it sit overnight. It's currently the next day. So now you guys can see that the mold is all hard. It's all hardened now. That resin went ahead and dried up on the fiberglass. So now it's rock hard. This is how it was before, like all flimsy with no resin. And this is, you know, after you let it dry. Now I did go ahead and off camera I added a little bit more over here. Now what I'm going to do is pop it off. To do that, all this tape that I put around, I'm just starting to peel it off already. All this up here. Just peel it all off. Then what I'm going to use is, where did I leave that? Is this plastic trim remover. This is to remove trim pieces from your interior. Now I'm going to go ahead and stick that underneath and slowly pry it off. And I'll show you guys what that's like once the mold is out. So just peel up all your tape, you know, from everywhere. Start peeling your aluminum foil. Go in there with something soft. You know, don't go at it too hard because you can break it. So just take your time with it and the mold will come off. So I'll go ahead and do that for you guys. Alright, so check it out, guys. I got the mold out. It's popped off. Now I can just lift it off. And here we have our panel. Still nice and clean. There's no resin on that. If you guys are wondering, I did go ahead and sand it off camera also right before I actually put the aluminum foil. So it is all sanded down, but as you guys can see, there's no fiberglass on that. There's no resin on that. And we have the piece right here. We go to the back side. Here's all the aluminum foil that protected the panel. All you gotta do is just peel off that aluminum foil. See, it peels right off. So I'm gonna go ahead and peel all this off, and then we're gonna clean up all these edges, all this extra material that you guys see, all that extra stuff like all this. We're gonna go ahead and clean all that up so we can have just the piece that we need, which is this whole curve here. Alright you guys, so to clean off all the edges all around, I'm going to be using this rotary tool, or a Dremel as some people like to call it, with a cutoff wheel. Now, just simply turn this on, and the wheel starts to spin, and it'll cut right through. As you guys can see, it'll cut right through the fiberglass. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and do this off of the actual panel. So I'm just gonna run along wherever I want to cut it, you know, cut off all this extra stuff. So I'm gonna probably do like all around here. Same thing, all this extra stuff down here and over here is what I'm gonna cut using the rotary tool. I'll show you guys what it's like once I'm finished cutting it. Just simply whatever path you guys want to take, you can mark it off, make a line or whatever, and just cut it and follow it all along. So you're basically just going to cut off all this extra stuff that you no longer need, and you'll be left with just the part that you need, which for me is this. So I'll cut all around all this extra, all along all this, and I'll be left with just that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that, and I'll show you guys what it looks like once I'm done cutting. So I'm going to get started. Alright guys, so after cutting off all the extra, I actually already went ahead and sanded everything down. As you guys can see, it is not as thick as it was before. I have it taped on right now, and if you guys can see with the tail light on, look at that. Clean, super perfect. You can't even tell anymore. So now in the next video, where I actually continue the body work on this, is where I'll go ahead and blend it in with the Bondo. I might drill some self-tappers just to keep it in place, and then Bondo over those. But look at that. You can't even tell there was a hit there. Super happy with the results. Super easy. Just need some fiberglass resin and some fiberglass mat. The light's not bolted on, that's why it keeps falling, but just the look I was going for. Now let me take off the fiberglass piece real quick. Alright, and look how that looked before. That's without the fiberglass piece. Look at that big gap. It's all wonky and wobbly, uneven. Some areas are higher, so I'm gonna go ahead and hammer that and then put the fiberglass piece over it. But that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see this car get completed, getting it ready for paint, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Any comments, go ahead and leave them down below. I do read them and I do try to answer all of them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.